August 8th, 1963, 3 o'clock in the morning. In the quiet countryside of Britain, a Royal Mail train thundered through the darkness, heading for London. Inside were 128 bags, filled with cash, millions of pounds. That night, the train carried not just mail, but the biggest secret in British history. A few miles ahead, hidden in the dark, a group of men waited. They weren't soldiers. They weren't killers. They were ordinary men with an extraordinary plan. That night, they were going to stop the train. That night, they would steal 2.6 million pounds, nearly $60 million today. And the most shocking part, they wouldn't fire a single shot. It all began with a secret. A small-time criminal named Brian Field heard that every week, a Royal Mail train traveled from Glasgow to London carrying a fortune, unguarded, unprotected. When Field told this to Bruce Reynolds, a seasoned criminal, Reynolds knew instantly. This was the chance of a lifetime. He built a team, 15 men in total, a driver, an electrician, a planner, and a few strong hands to keep control. They studied every inch of the railway line, every turn, every signal, every station. Finally, they found the perfect spot near Ledburn, a lonely stretch of track surrounded by darkness. That's where they would strike. To stop the train, they had to control the signal. Electrician Roger Corddry replaced the real green light with a fake red one. So when the driver saw it, he'd think danger was ahead and stop the train. Everything was ready. August 8th, 1963. The night was set. At around 3 in the morning, driver Jack Mills spotted the red light and stopped the train. He stepped outside to check the track. From the shadows, a masked man appeared and struck him on the head with an iron bar. The driver collapsed. Within moments, the 15 men took control. They uncoupled the engine, leaving only the first carriage, the one filled with money. The postal workers inside were shocked. In just 25 minutes, the robbers loaded 128 mail bags into waiting trucks. Then they disappeared into the night. No gunfire, no noise, only silence, and the world's most famous train robbery. By morning, Britain was in shock. Newspapers screamed across the country, "Mail train looted," the biggest robbery in British history. But the celebration didn't last long. A few days later, police discovered a small farmhouse, the gang's hideout. It was empty but full of evidence, fingerprints, newspapers, food packets, and mailbags. That one mistake exposed them all. Detective Tommy Butler led the investigation. Hundreds of officers searched the countryside. One by one, the robbers were caught. Charlie Wilson, Roger Corddry, Ronnie Biggs, all behind bars. But the mastermind, Bruce Reynolds, had escaped. It became Britain's biggest manhunt. In 1964, the trial began. The trial of the century. The courtroom was packed, the press overflowing. When the verdict came, silence filled the room. Each man was sentenced to 25 to 30 years in prison. The judge said, "You have attacked the heart of the nation." It seemed like the end. But one more twist was waiting. In 1965, Ronnie Biggs shocked the world by escaping from prison. He climbed a wall with a rope, hid in a truck, and vanished. France, Australia, and finally, Brazil. There he lived freely for decades, gave interviews, smiled for cameras, and became the world's most famous gentleman crook. For Britain, it was humiliation. For the public, he was a legend. Bruce Reynolds also fled to Mexico. He hid for 5 years until the money ran out. When he returned in 1968, police caught him. 25 years in prison. The story seemed over, but by then, it had become a legend. By the 1970s, people began calling the robbers heroes. Movies were made, books were written, and the Great Train Robbery became part of British culture. But the truth? No one really won? Train driver Jack Mills never recovered from his injuries. He died a few years later. And the stolen money? Most of it was never found. Some say it was buried, others say it burned. No one knows. In 2001, an old and sick Ronnie Biggs returned to Britain. He was arrested immediately and died in prison in 2013. Bruce Reynolds once said, "We thought we could beat the system, but in the end, the system won." August 8, 1963, the night Britain stopped. 15 men, one train, one dream, to get rich. But in the end, only a story remained. And maybe, somewhere deep underground, the stolen money still lies hidden, silent, reminding us that greed always writes its own ending.